Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So paying for a web browser wasn't anything out of the ordinary back in the early days of the web. I mean, Netscape cost money, Internet Explorer originally came in the Microsoft Plus pack, but what would have been crazy even back then was having a monthly subscription fee just to use your browser. But that's exactly what the great minds at AOL have come up with. This is their Shield Pro web browser, and it costs a whopping $3.99 per month, though you can get a 30-day trial, which we're certainly going to take advantage of later on in this video. What do you get for that price? Well, apparently you get ransomware protection, anti-key logging, screen grab protection, and a familiar look and feel because, of course, AOL Shield Pro is based off of the Chromium browser, like pretty much every other browser these days. And the funny thing about that is Chrome comes with a good amount of security features already built in. If you go to the download page, they've got a whole page dedicated to the various safety and security features that it has, and it talks about safe browsing. It talks about the enhanced protection feature, which is something you can turn on from the settings panel. This apparently provides real-time, AI powered protection. Of course, they got to implement AI in some way into everything nowadays. But even the standard protection that is on by default will warn you when you download a potentially malicious file. It will show you a deceptive site warning if you're going to go to, a site that's been reported as a phishing site. It's got a lot of this stuff already implemented just by default. The only thing it doesn't specifically mention are the screen grab protection and the anti-key logging functionality that you apparently get with AOL Shield Pro. Which these may sound familiar to you if you saw my AOL desktop video that I published back in January of this year, because these were both highlighted as major features of that software package. And of course, the funny thing about that is, as I mentioned in that video, they're both built into Windows with the default antivirus program that comes pre-installed with it. So do you actually get anything useful with AOL Shield Pro that you can't get for free through other means? Well, that's what we're going to find out in this video. Now, I will say the title of this episode is maybe a little bit baity because the browser itself is free to download. They just don't really make that obvious at the top of the page here. You have to scroll down here to the bottom, and then there's this not ready to commit. You can download and use AOL Shield Pro for free without the advanced security features active, and that's what we're going to do. But trust me, they really want you to buy a subscription because they constantly shove it in your face as you're using the browser. So here's the setup wizard. We are going to agree to the terms of use, and yes, we will launch after installation. Now down here it says, note, AOL search will be set as the default search engine in this browser, and AOL.com will be set as your default homepage and new tab page, which you can't disable that, which is rather annoying. Though I would imagine if you're installing this, you're probably not really going to care about that anyways. Because the unfortunate thing is, I think just like with AOL Desktop, this browser is being targeted towards, not as tech-savvy people that would go to that website and think that they need to pay for this browser to get all this security stuff so they can be secure online. And here we are, not even 0.3 seconds into launching the program, and it already comes up with a pop-up that says, the new AOL Shield Pro is here. Isn't that what we just downloaded? Protect yourself against online threats with the AOL Shield Pro browser, and then it talks about, the same stuff on the website. So you can try it free for 30 days or maybe later. We're just going to say maybe later for now. And like it talked about, it set the homepage to AOL.com. The new tab page is this search a new tab by AOL extension, which it's funny that you get this pop-up because this is just something that Chromium does whenever a extension changes the new tab page. So it's letting you know, like, did you want to change it? We'll just say keep it. And then this is what that looks like. So you've got a search box here, a background, you've got some shortcuts down here to, of course, AOL, AOL Mail, Yahoo Finance. I wonder if Tumblr's on here because it was once owned by AOL's parent company until they sold it off in 2019 and they just haven't changed it since then. That's the current theory that I'm working with. But of course, we've got Facebook and Amazon on here, which have nothing to do with AOL. And then you have this news sidebar with 3 categories: news, finance, and sports. Let's see if we can maximize. Yeah, okay, so now we can actually get to the close button there when you have the window extended all the way. And then you also have this bar up here that has shortcuts to AOL, AOL Mail, News, and your subscriptions if you were signed into your account, with this big button over here that says Go Pro and get protected now, or already have a license key so you can enter that in the settings panel. And you'll see this bar appears on every tab and every site that you go to. I thought at first it was something like just in the new tab page. No, you go to any website, it still shows up. And as far as I can tell, there's no way to turn it off. If we go in here to extensions, we can turn off the search a new tab thing for AOL. That'll just reset the tab page to the default one, but that does not control this bar. It is permanently enabled, and I've not found a way to turn it off. So they're just constantly begging you to get protected, quote unquote, and buy a subscription to the browser. Now, if we go back into the settings panel, of course, with this thing being based on Chromium, if you've used another Chromium-based browser, all of these settings are going to be pretty much the same, with the exception of the AOL security tab, which is all the new stuff that they have supposedly added anyways. So you've got the option to enter your license key here. I guess this is not tied, like I was kind of wondering if it was going to tie it to your AOL account, if you can sign into the browser with it, but it doesn't even seem like you can do that. I mean, if you do a search for account, you've got password manager here, but this is just the integrated one because all of the, Google syncing stuff has been removed. So you don't have the option up here to, sign into your Google account or even your AOL account. So I think that it works just by when you subscribe to it, it gives you a key and you have to manually paste it in here to the settings panel to get access to these three sliders right here: Entry Protect, Phish Lock, and Crypto Safe, which is the key logging and screen capture, phishing protection, and ransomware protection, respectively. So yeah, you cannot enable these right now. We will, get a key here in a moment, but I do kind of want to go through the rest of this stuff and see if there's anything else at all that is different. In fact, let's just open up Chrome here and go into the settings for this and just kind of compare these two tabs here. So we'll go ahead and just resize. And that's kind of annoying. It's not letting me resize the browser. It's not because I have these tabs up here, is it? I mean, yeah, no, I literally can't resize the browser to be... I mean, you can see here I can, change the Chrome window size a lot more freely. I mean, I can make it, a much smaller window if I want to. I think that's actually because of this bar right here, because if you notice, yeah, it stops right when this button hits the subscriptions button. So you got the safety check thing that Chrome has. Of course, that's exactly the same, just with, the various references to Google and stuff removed. Although, they missed this icon right here. That is still the Chrome icon. They have changed, some of those other ones you see here. That one's been changed to the AOL logo, so they actually forgot to make some modification. But yeah, overall, I'm just not really seeing, that much that is different at all, unfortunately. And I mean, not that that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, pretty much every Chromium-based browser is going to have a lot of similar things shared across them. But I feel like, with AOL kind of presenting this as a premium product that gives you this extra security stuff that they're almost implying you don't get with other browsers or just pre-installed with your operating system, you would think they would put in some effort in trying to make it look a little bit different. I mean, Microsoft Edge does this very well. As much as people will criticize Microsoft Edge, if you go in here to the settings panel, it is an entirely different layout. And, they've got, of course, the whole Microsoft account syncing thing built in. They have done some effort into making this kind of feel like a completely different browser, even if it is based on the same underlying framework as Google Chrome is. But I did want to see under appearance, because admittedly I did not look in here too closely, but okay, side panel position, that's I want to see if we can turn off this stupid bar. Maybe it will give us the option when we subscribe to the Pro plan. But yeah, I mean, okay, show bookmarks bar, we can turn that off. Show tab groups and bookmarks bar, automatically pin new tabs. I mean, this is all just regular stuff. Customize your toolbar. Okay, so this is just the regular Chromium toolbar modifier thing, so we can turn off the home button and stuff if we want. But is there anything for is this a part of the toolbar or is this a separate thing? I don't see a toggle for this. And yeah, I can't right click on it even on these buttons here. I don't think you can turn this off. That's very annoying. But let's see what happens. So let's click on GoPro and Get Protected Now. and I'm going to log into one of my AOL accounts and subscribe to the free trial here. And we'll also see how this process works, because I think the fact that they have a license key is hilarious. Like, they couldn't tie this to your AOL account somehow. If you're seeing this message, select next. Okay. So we will start my free trial. And there it is. There's my activation key. Should I blur this? I mean, I don't know, whatever. We'll go in here and enter that in and hit register. So that is how you, like, prove that you have purchased the browser. Device was successfully registered to relaunch to enable protection. Okay, so we'll relaunch it here. And here we go. So it looks like that the toolbar is still there, it's just with the buy now button removed, you know, so that's gone. But yeah, I don't think there's a way to disable that, which is rather annoying. I mean, I guess, hey, if you were really tied into the AOL ecosystem, you probably would want this here because it's got shortcuts to your mail and stuff. But even with that in mind, it looks like this is supposed to be a bookmarks bar with shortcuts to your most frequently accessed websites, but you can't add things to it. I mean, because if you go here like to AOL, you just got bookmarks bar. I mean, you can choose another folder, you've got other bookmarks, you know, there's nothing for this here because it's not like tied into the regular, you know, bookmarks interface that Chromium has. Now, if you saw my AOL desktop video, this right up here might look pretty familiar to you. This is that keylogging thing, or the, you know, anti-keylogging functionality that it was talking about. We had this exact same window in AOL desktop. This apparently is the scrambler window that is shown to the user to indicate that keylogger protection is active. It will show the random keystrokes that a keylogger would record if one was active. The window is shown above the active window in the protection application and is hidden by default. This last line honestly feels like it was taken from something else, because the protection application, like, what's it talking about? It's just right up here in the browser. So yeah, apparently as I go and type stuff, it is scrambling my keystrokes. And this is, we can actually see it working this time. In AOL desktop, I didn't actually see anything up there. So apparently that's what it is. You know, if a keylogger was active, that is what it would see. So, okay. And then you have the screen capture protection, and then fish lock. You actually can't turn this or the CryptoSafe thing off. That's just permanently on. In fact, you can't even turn, so yeah, you can't even disable these features if you wanted to. The only way, I guess, would be to, you know, disconnect your key from the account, which, is there even a way to do that? Like, if we, I guess, hey, manage subscriptions? But yeah, you have to sign into your account. I mean, I guess you could cancel it from there. So does that mean if you were to install this on another computer, would it not let you, like, transfer your subscription over? Like, is it only for one browser? You know what? Why don't we fire up another VM and find out? Okay, so here we are on a fresh install of Windows 10 with the browser installed. Let's paste it in and see what happens. Device was successfully registered. Okay, so I wonder if that unregistered the old one. Let's see, we'll go back here to Windows 11 and refresh this. It still says that we're protected. Well, it doesn't say anything in here about a device limit. But this is interesting. It does go into a little bit more detail about the security features, and like the anti-phishing stuff just sounds like what Chrome already does. It says when you navigate to a phishing site, it blocks the phishing site from loading, and then once a phishing site has been confirmed, it's added to a block list that is maintained and made available for public use. So I guess this is going to be AOL's database instead of Google's. That's really, I would imagine anyways, the only difference between those. Advanced security protection, it talks about the anti-keylogging, window hook protection, it tells you what a hook is, kernel level keylogging protection, screen capture protection. So this is like technically something that you have in AOL Shield Pro that you don't have in Chrome, but like I said, Windows just comes with screen capture and keylogging protection built in by default. And then malware protection, it even says right here, it leverages the Chromium open source project anti-malware and anti-download technology. A database of websites known to contain malware is actively maintained. It doesn't say if that is Google's existing database or something that AOL has created just for Shield Pro. But again, that's something that Chrome already does if you download a potentially malicious file. And here's an example of what one of these messages looks like. Well, almost, because this is actually not a phishing message, it's not a download message, because I've honestly had a little bit of trouble finding a phishing site that is still online, which is a good problem to have for sure. But I was able to get a connection is not private message, which comes up whenever there's an invalid certificate for a site that is using HTTPS encryption. And what's funny about this is it says down here, turn on enhanced protection to get AOL Shield Pro's highest level of security. When you click that, it takes you into the settings where there is no enhanced protection option. Now, this is a feature we talked about before that Chromium has just built into it, and it's advertised on the Google Chrome download page. Well, it's apparently been taken out of AOL Shield here, but all the references have not, because you still get this thing here telling you to turn it on, which would definitely be confusing if you thought that you bought this for the enhanced security features, and right here it's telling you that they're not even turned on. So this is just a regular Chrome page that comes up. This is not anything exclusive to AOL Shield Pro. So yeah, it honestly doesn't really seem like you're getting a whole lot of new advanced security features with AOL Shield Pro, and it doesn't justify paying $4 a month for this. I mean, if this was a free-to-use browser, that would be a totally different story. But even then, it's like, do you really want to use a browser made by AOL that's just like a reskinned Chromium fork? Barely reskinned Chromium fork. I mean, come on. But that actually gets us to another little interesting side note that I wanted to talk about in this video. And this is something that you probably have seen already, because there have been a couple people that have been talking about this, and this has been around for a while. But Netscape is back as a web browser. There is a version of Netscape. It is a Chromium fork. No surprise, of course. And I wanted to install it here and see how it compares to Shield Pro, because I have a feeling it's probably going to be pretty similar. In fact, the UAC prompt there said Sentry Bay as the developer, and that was the exact same name as the developer for AOL Shield. In fact, doing a quick search for Sentry Bay here, their website describes them as the world's most advanced endpoint threat prevention. And sure enough, under trusted by global businesses, there's AOL. So yeah, I mean, the AOL at the very least is collaborating with these people to create the browser. So yeah, I mean, maybe some of their technology is implemented in the browser that does give you like some more advanced protection that you wouldn't get with regular Chromium. But yeah, here is the Netscape setup wizard. This looks exactly the same so far. So my prediction is this is going to be the same browser, but just without the pro stuff added in, which of course begs the question, what does it offer you other than just being a reskinned version of Chrome? I mean, I guess nostalgia? Look at that, it even goes to shield.aol.com/welcome, and then which just redirects you to AOL.com. We have the same search and new tab by AOL extension, so we'll keep that. But let's hop here into settings, and look at that. They haven't even changed the logo up here. Okay, they changed it down here about Netscape, and then you've got the Netscape logo here, but that's still the Chrome logo. And then you have, of course, the copyright, although it still says Oath Incorporated. That's not the parent company name anymore. And yeah, sure enough, going through here, this is all just regular Chromium stuff. So this is an even worse reskin, because it's even lazier than AOL Shield Pro. I guess the one benefit is that stupid AOL toolbar that was up there in AOL Shield is gone. So you just have the regular, bookmarks bar and everything. Just use Chrome, or dare I say Microsoft Edge, if you really want a Chromium-based browser, or, of course, one of the many other more reputable options that are out there. Or you can just use Firefox like I do. And speaking of Firefox, AOL did have another browser just called Shield that was based on Firefox, and that was designed for like older computers to be used alongside their dial-up subscription plan, which of course is not a thing anymore, so that browser's not a thing anymore either. I talked briefly about that in my AOL dial-up experimentation video. You can check that out here up in the cards if you missed it. But I think that is going to wrap it up for today's episode. That is AOL Shield Pro, the very strange quote-unquote premium browser from AOL that you should stay far away from. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more like it, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get early access to these videos before anybody else. But either way, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.